Do I look fat?
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Do I Look Fat podcast. This week, I have a guest who is a Cali native, a full-on creative, and a wannabe vegan. My girl, Valerie Ann. Hey, boo. How are you?
Hey, y'all. I'm so good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited
Thank
to
you
be here.
for coming. Valerie Ann is one half of the Are We Grown Yet podcast. I had her counterpart on episode, I think it was 18. And Miss Hasmeen, we talked about her getting married and all of that. And today we have Miss Valerie Ann. And let me tell y'all something, okay? Miss Valerie Ann just came back from like living her best life in Cali. She was doing the damn thing.
West Coast in the house. For sure. Do I look darker? I feel like I got a tan. I'm all melanated.
I love it. First of all, that has been my whole summer. Just literally in the sunlight. I have gotten so dark. And I'm kind of upset that it's getting cooler on the East Coast already. So I'm just like, this tan is going to fade and I'm going to be pale again. And I'm not prepared because I love it. I really love it.
So funny. Like, as I was growing up in California, you're always in the sun. So you're always your darkest, really. And I hated that. So when I moved to the East Coast, I lost all my color. And I was like, wait a minute, where's my chocolateness? And when I went back, I was at the beach. I was outside in the pool. Like, any chance I get, put that sunscreen on. But I'm out there in the sun, okay? I love my melanin.
So do I. And I feel like people don't understand. I'm only pale because I live in New York. Like, I'm only this pale because it's cold 10 months out of the year. Like, if we
New York is like something else with the weather. Like, it's super, super hot in the summer. Then it's super, super cold in the winter. Like, there's no like happy medium.
Well, it's super hot in the summer because of the train. So it heats up the underground. That's why it's so hot in the summer.
I don't believe anything you're saying. You're telling me your transit system is the reason why it's so hot?
Well, it's hot, right? So it's already 80 degrees. God. Let's say it's already 80 degrees. It'll feel like 85, 87 just because of all the heat in our underground train system. Like, heat rises. So the concrete gets hot. I'm dead serious.
Yo, that is so wild. That is so, as y'all say, that's dead ass wild.
No, for real. It's really crazy. But
and then your trains never have air conditioning, it seems like.
No, they do. Okay, so it's always like it's a myth. There's always that one car though, like that you won't. So you'll know when there's no AC in a car. If the train is packed for the most part, and then you're like, "Ooh, look, a cart with like seats so we could sit in." That train car does not have air conditioning. And the people that are there, which sometimes has been me, I've definitely been known to zen out. I just pretend I'm doing like Bikram or whatever, because nobody's in there bothering you. So I'll literally just sit there,
get my yoga on,
really still, and just chill out, zen out. No one is in there bothering. It's not
like
crowded.
Short rest, so you're not like exerting, seriously, all this energy.
Because it's hot as fuck. Like, those train stations, those train cars are hot. Then they try to open the window for like a breeze. There's no breeze in a tunnel. Right? Like, what breeze?
Just hot air coming through. Like, close that, please.
Hot ass air. It's really crazy.
New York is so fun.
It is. I'm kind of over it.
Are you born and bred?
I'm born and bred. I've lived here my whole entire life, and I'm over it. Like,
yeah, I feel
if anything, COVID in 2020 just showed me like New York is really about like the superficial, because once all of that fun was taken away, once I just had to stay in my little ass apartment with not a view, like I look out my window, I see a brick wall, like that's just whack.
Yeah. Yeah, people are miserable. You got those tiny 200 square foot apartments. Like, you can't go nowhere.
And mind you, my apartment for New York standards is pretty big for it just being me and my son. We have space. Like, right now he's on the other side of the apartment and like I don't hear him, but still I look out my window right here and I look at a brick wall. Like, it's just like, what the fuck?
Oh my gosh, where are you at?
I'm in the Bronx.
In the Bronx. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love New York though. I can visit, but I'm sure I can't live there. Like it takes a particular person to live in New York.
You have to love New York to want to live here. You have to. You would be miserable if you hated it.
Mm-hmm. Like all the people, the cost of living, just the transit, all that. You gotta love it.
The transit, number one. Like I'm over it. And it's not like you can drive. I mean, you can, but who wants to? Not me.
Yeah.
I just got my license. It's going to be a year in September. So like in a couple of weeks. I just got my license. I'm 35 years old. Okay. Ask me how many times I've driven. I had like a fever. I drove everywhere from like September to like November. Then it got cold and like snow. And I was just like, I don't want to deal with that. I haven't driven since like October of last year. Because for what?
Exactly.
I don't have a car because I don't pay for parking.
Like, and who is? Like, parking's expensive out there. Like,
let's not. Expensive. Parking could at least be like $150, $200 a month. And that's not counting your car note nor your insurance, which is expensive as fuck. I don't have time. Yeah. I really don't. So yeah,
I totally get it. It's time to move on. We love you, New York, but it's been real.
Completely. So when you were in Cali, you hit the beaches a lot. What was your favorite part of the beach?
So I think it's probably the people I was with. So I did once with my little sisters, and I don't get to spend a lot of time with them. I mean, they were in high school when I left. So now they're adults. They're like, you know, working, going to school, doing all these things. So like getting to know them as adults is so weird. I'm like, stop growing up. They're 21 and 23. So they're like, you know, trying to be grown, but they're not really grown because they still living at home kind of deal. And then my friend, she had her birthday. And so she had like a bonfire situation. And let me tell you how this Leo chick did. I love her to death. This girl paid for a videographer to do a music video for her. So we're like dressed up in like our cute little like outfits or bathing suits, you know, makeup, whatever. Got the bonfire going. He has his drone.
I love it.
And a video. Yeah, he's doing the whole thing. It is hilarious. It was so hilarious.
So let me tell you why that's funny. Because me and my sister, so as you guys know, I quit my job a couple of weeks back. So I'm, you know, a stay-at-home mom, I guess you can say, full-on creative. I can work anywhere where my laptop can travel to, right?
Come on now.
So me and my sister were talking about, you know, renting a house somewhere warm in the colder months because New York fucking sucks, and just living somewhere for like a couple of weeks. And I sent her a video today. I don't know if you know Fly Rye from the Guys Next Door podcast. Well, he's in Tulum and he had a drone, right? And he does these videos from the drone of him just like running into the water and swimming, and it's beautiful. So I sent the video. He posted one today, and I sent it to my sister, and I was like, our visuals for when we move to wherever we're gonna move to for the month.
She's like goals. Okay,
this is what
Save
I want.
Your money,
because my Instagram is going to be fire. Let me tell you.
Exactly. Tulum. I heard that is so nice. I mean, I've seen videos and pictures, but that is a place in Mexico. I'm like, I got to go.
Oh, I know, but Tulum turned into Miami in 2020. Everybody went to Tulum. Like everyone is in Tulum right now. Yes. Damn. Maybe it's just a New York thing because everybody in New York is in Tulum. Like
they're like, fuck New York. I'm out of here.
Well,
I need water, sunshine.
Let me tell you, I'm gonna shit on my city a little bit. Let me tell you why we're fucked up. We are fucked up because we were the epicenter of, you know, COVID. It was crazy here. I think when I recorded with you, I was like in quarantine. I couldn't leave and all of that. And, you know, we as a collective, not me, but the city went all over America and spread.
Feel like I'm out.
No, and spread essentially COVID-19, right? Now that we have our shit all the way together, we banned like 30 states from coming to see us. What?
Did you really?
Yes, we fucking did.
New York's like, nah, we good. All right, like, we good.
Y'all are dumb because y'all let us go. But that sounds like a you problem.
It's not my fault, it's your fault, and you're not welcome. Sorry.
We saw how we fucked y'all up. We're not about to let y'all fuck us up.
No, this is not karma. This is not what's happening to us. Sorry.
We legit banned like 30 states.
Dang, New York. I bet you it's Florida and Texas is the two of them.
It's like Florida, Texas, Cali.
I know Cali's, they wildin'. Yeah. Cali, I will say the beaches, we were social distancing. Like we were like towards the back. No one else was. And I went to 3 different beaches and people
they don't social distance here either.
No mask. They out here. And I'm like, are y'all doing too much? Absolutely too much.
I mean, it's hard. Like, to me, it's kind of like, okay, I've been to the beach a bunch of times. I go to the hood ass beach here in the Bronx. Like, whatever, I don't care. I got vitamin D. So what I've been doing is I'll just lay out in the sun, but I don't go in the water here because gross. I would go to the boardwalk and go to like the showers, and I would if I'm hot, I would just go and take a shower on the boardwalk and then go back to my towel. That's exactly what I did.
That is the best idea ever. You're like, fuck this dirty ass water. I'm not going in, but I'm gonna be wet and I'm gonna get this glistening and glow on.
Because you know that I feel like it helps your tan when you're wet. I don't know. It could just
I think it does.
I swear it does. It like cools down your skin. Maybe it just, you can absorb the melanin just a little bit better. I don't know.
She's like, I'm taking it all.
All of it. My tan line is kind of crazy. My tan line is really ridiculous. Like, it is a legit line, Val. Like a line. Like it's
just like the straight back line.
It's kind of crazy. Like you're just like you wouldn't realize how white I was. Like for real. Like if I were to show you, you'd be like, no, yeah. It's like it's kind of crazy. It's really ridiculous. But anyways.
I hope you didn't burn or like start peeling. No, like that's the worst.
No. So let me tell you what I did to avoid the peeling, because I could start peeling. I literally drenched myself in like this vitamin C oil, and it's infused with sunflower oil, saffron oil, and another type of oil. I don't know, but it's amazing. It's from that cocoa butter company. Oh my God, why can't I think about it? I don't remember the name, but it's an oil. It's a moisturizing body oil, and I literally drench myself with that. I have not peeled anywhere, which is surprising.
Okay. Yeah. Where did you get it?
In like the beauty supply store. I'm telling you, it's one of those, like, it was like $3.99. Yeah, and I was just like, it was like moisturizing. I was like, I need moisture. And it works. Okay,
that is the worst thing. It's a peel.
So just be burnt, period. But I do wear, my SPF and all of that. Skin cancer is a thing. So you have to be careful out here. Definitely protect yourself. But I'm tired of being pale as fuck.
I hear you.
All right. So we're going to get into my first segment now that we got to know Valerie a little bit. First segment is Eat Your Heart Out. And this week, because of my guest, we're going to talk about veganism and basically 12 things you should know before becoming a vegan. So I know you consider yourself to be a wannabe vegan. And why do you think that?
Because the way my body reacts to cheese and eggs, I don't know that I could give it up. But it's so funny that we're talking about this, because as I was leaving California, because I ate all the things. I'm not going to lie. I love Mexican food, so I ate all the things. I said no to nothing. I was like, you know what? When I get back, I'm going vegan, like hard, hard. But I will say it's just hard with the cheeses and the eggs. Like I like an egg for my breakfast. Right. Everything has cheese in America. Like you can't get away from it.
For me, that would be the hardest part. I love I made mac and cheese today. It was delicious.
Yes.
Like I love cheese.
Like meat is easy for me to replace it because there's a lot of alternatives, but vegan cheeses are not the best. Like they're evolving. Some brands are really good, but it's not the same. But I was like, you know what? I have to go hard. Like if I don't do it, I'll never do it. I'll always be a wannabe. So that's really what it is. Like I do everything else. Like I don't do milk. I do like non-dairy milk. Even my yogurt is like cashew or like coconut yogurt.
Oh, okay.
My creamers, because I love my coffees, non-dairy. That's easy for me.
Right.
It's just the cheese.
It's the cheese and the eggs. Because it's like what would you substitute an egg with?
Yeah, exactly.
Like oatmeal? Like I don't understand. What
nothing. I mean, and so, you know what, sometimes they'll do like a tofu scramble thing, but I don't like tofu. Yeah. And I will say that as someone who wants to be vegan, I do not like tofu. There's nothing like, no like concoction, no like meal that you could put together with tofu that I'm like, yum. Me like no,
right. I'm not big on tofu either. I think it's the consistency of it. It's definitely like the texture. I don't
and
know.
it's
I'm
bland. Like you really, really, really have to season it. So like if you don't marinate it in something, it's not really good. And so I don't like that as an alternate to egg.
Yeah,
I can't.
Definitely not. So before we get into the 12 things, let's just say what veganism is. It's basically where you don't eat any animal products. So that's meat, chicken, fish, also byproducts. So that's dairies and things like that. And what else would it be? Eggs, dairy. Real vegans don't even use leather.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't use like the gelatin. So a lot of that is in like gummies, things like that, candy. You have to be careful of chocolate. You have to do 100% dark chocolate, things like that. Even like, believe it or not, some like alcohol is not vegan.
Right. So this past weekend, I went to a cookout and one of the girls, she was talking about some type of liquor or whatever. And one of the guys was like, you drink that? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, well, it's strained with pork or something like that. And I was just like, really?
In the process of making it. And I think it's like wine, sometimes vodka, they use animal byproducts. So you just got to be careful of not only the ingredients, but how it's made or how it's prepared too.
Right.
And so when I was going through the transition, I started off vegetarian and I would go to restaurants, you know, I'm thinking, oh, I'll get some fries or, you know, a side of whatever vegetables, but a lot of times they'll prepare it in, you know, lard or in grease from the meat, or like they'll use butter. You don't even know that, you know, stuff like that. So it's like how it's prepared, not just like what that item is. You got to be cognizant of.
Yeah.
It's hard.
For sure. That's actually one of the tips. One of the tips was when you go out to eat, to make sure that you tell the server what your restrictions are, because you don't know how they're preparing these things, you know? It's very hard. You have to be very cognizant of what you're intaking when you're a vegan. Like I said, I don't have any desire to be a vegan. I
you don't want to come to the dark side.
No, I don't. And I know I should. I know it would probably be so amazing and I would probably look 35 at 65. Like I know all of this. I do. But it's just like I have to make chicken every day for my son. Like I couldn't imagine making chicken every day and not eating chicken ever again in life.
I will say that is the hardest part. Like if you are living with people who don't necessarily subscribe to that, it's hard because they will make meals that you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna have a taste. Let me have a little bit of that.
Right. Or because if you're doing it for reasons, you know, just because of the health benefits, it's not that you don't like the food. Like you grew up on this. Like you probably love
chicken all the time, turkey, all the things. And I remember like wanting to do it back when I was living in California and I was still living at home. I was a teenager, like almost 18 and whatever. And my family like literally laughed at me and like made me feel like shit because they were like, well, how are you going to do this? We just cooked like a whole roast. Like, what are you going to eat? You going to eat this piece of broccoli? And I'm like, y'all can't help me out and like make some other sides. Like, come on. And they would not. They'd be like, oh, we got hot dogs. We got burgers. Like,
okay, that doesn't help me like at all. That's actually the worst of the possible choices.
Why are you gonna give me this random meat of a hot dog? God, give me something authentic at least.
So my sister became vegetarian. I want to say she's maybe like 10 years already. I don't think Ethan was born yet when she became vegetarian. She did it because, you know, meat just didn't sit well with her, like her body, point blank period. So it was easier for her, but I know that transition was hard when it came for like holidays. And like Christmas and Thanksgiving and things like that, because so many of the dishes are focused around meat.
Oh yeah. And if they're not, they're cooking those greens in lard.
Yes.
Or they got pork, in it.
In the rice.
That
the rice has pork.
Exactly. So there's no way to avoid it unless you're going to eat a salad.
Yeah. Or bring your own food. And it's kind of messed up, but it does have the benefits.
Exactly. I was just talking to my best friend earlier and I was like, my digestive system is off and on whack because I just ate whatever I wanted in California for 5 weeks. And I was like, I need a detox and a cleanse. But it's, like I can definitely feel like more bloated, tired, and just like groggy. So I know like me having this like plant-based diet, it definitely works for me, my system.
So since you're getting ready to re-embark on this journey, some of the tips that we found was basically that you might need to supplement B12. Have you heard about that? So apparently the B12 deficiency can lead to tiredness, weakness, and loss of appetite. So taking vitamins to supplement that is very important, as well as iron. You should look for iron in other sources as well.
Absolutely. So I messed up when I was going vegetarian and I was not thinking about that. And so it was just recently, like a year or two ago, I went to go see my doctor, my gynecologist. She's like, look, you are severely deficient in all of these things. She's like, you need to start taking a daily vitamin as well. I'm going to put you on this fast track. And so she gave me like these heavy doses of B12, folate, vitamin D. Yeah. And she's like, you need to take this for the next like 6 months to re-up and get normal. And then you need to start taking like multivitamins every day because you are going to be deficient because you are eating like leafy greens and like vegetables and things like that, but you're going to have to eat a lot more of it to get that same amount of nutrients that you need.
Exactly.
And people forget about that. They're just like, oh, I had this one salad. It's like,
well, that's not enough. You ate that, plus you ate other things before that gave you all of these other vitamins. So you definitely have to eat more of where you can get these nutrients from. Places that I found where you can find iron, which was different, is obviously the leafy greens, but also sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds have a lot of iron.
Okay.
And that's funny because like you know how they say like if you chew ice, it's because
you're and I definitely chew ice. I am that person.
And I feel like the same people who chew ice eat sunflower seeds. So it's like, is it because of the iron? Like, do you love it because of like, it's just doing something for you?
Oh my God. I'm thinking about it now because my mom is also deficient and so is my grandpa. And we all chew ice, eat sunflower seeds. So it's a thing. Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious when I read that. So that definitely stood out to me. Another tip is that people will ask you questions. Basically everybody's like, your parents was like, why?
Like they will shun you. They'll be like, you are stupid. I will never forget. My cousin was like, that is the dumbest thing. You're not going to get enough nutrients or protein. She was all about the protein. You're going to miss out on protein. And I'm like, stop. But I listened to her. And then I was like, as I researched, there's so many alternatives to protein. There's so protein in legumes, beans, like all these different things.
Quinoa, soy.
Exactly. So I could get my protein, but I was so like taken aback because I was like, dang, I am going to lose out on that. Maybe I shouldn't do this. But no,
I'm not going to lie. When my sister said she was going vegetarian, I was like, you have to be careful. You have to start eating more protein, blah, 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 because we all get our protein from the meat that we eat. And da, 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 da. But honestly, like we intake a lot of protein because especially like Hispanics, you know what it is? Rice, beans, and meat. So that's and beans, like
no vegetables, no nothing else.
Vegetables. It's like I think maybe you're gonna be okay. And she loves it. She has not come back. Like she's just like, I'm good.
Did your family like get on her about it? Did she have like a hard time transitioning with them?
No, my mom is pretty supportive. It's basically just me, my mom, and my sister as far as like our immediate family goes. So my mom is very supportive. My mom, she be making her like her little vegetarian lasagnas for holidays or whatever. Oh
yes, with the support.
Oh no, my mom, she likes to make her feel included. That's what my mom tells me. She's like, Amanda's coming, so I'm making a vegetarian dish. I was like, okay.
I love it. Yes, mom. More people were like that. Yeah.
So one of the tips when people ask questions is that they tell you not to push your agenda, which a lot of vegans do. It's like, you need to eat vegan because this is why, and all the benefits and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, I get it, but that's still a choice for you.
Absolutely. I think you're doing a disservice to the reason behind people go vegan when you push this agenda of like, you're a shitty person and you are not doing good for the earth, your body, nothing, because you're not doing veganism. And I'm like, honestly, all you have to do is present the facts and let them go about their way. Like, you don't have to be like, so why aren't you doing this? The animals and blah, 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 blah. It's like, if you just tell them like, hey, it benefits the earth when you don't partake in meat, you know, you feel energized or your skin clears up, like give them the facts so they can make their own decision. Because honestly, if you push them, they're not going to do it, or they're going to do it and not stick with it. Right. So you might as well just kind of present it in a lighthearted way. Just like, here's the facts.
Like,
it's more beneficial.
Girl, if you walk in glowing and they're like, oh my God, you look so good. And then you're like, yo, it's this vegan diet. Like, that's all you have to say.
And like, I am a thick girl. I have never been skinny. So I know if I wasn't doing this like low-key wannabe vegan stuff, your girl would be a couple more 100 pounds. Like, I'm just saying. So think about if someone was like pushing me like, you know, the animals and all of this stuff, and I didn't like that, I would have never done it. And I'd have been fat. Like,
just out here. Just out here. Also, it says, don't replace animal products with junk food, because I would assume you would try to eat like more carbs, right? Like, what else am I going to eat but rice and bread?
Let me tell you, that's why, going back to the Thanksgivings and the holidays, it's like all you do is just eat all the sides. It's like, that is candied yams with sugar and butter. Like, you know, it's mac and cheese with all the oils and seasoning. So it's like, it's not really healthy for you.
Right.
One of my favorite places out here is called, this is called New Vegan Bistro. So it's soul food. It's vegan soul food. And when I tell you, it is bomb.com. It is the best soul food. And it's like, you don't even really miss, it's vegan, and you don't really miss like the heaviness of soul food. But it's not good for you. Like, it's clearly not nutrients.
Right.
You know?
Those are sometimes foods. And I think I've said this before in like other episodes. I used to listen to this older podcast. She actually got married and she doesn't talk about her weight loss journey anymore. She talks about relationships. So I don't listen to her anymore because I don't need relationship advice. Because like, that's not okay. Nice, but no. But she used to always say, you know, sometimes foods versus every time foods. And that's really where I'm trying to go, like, with everything. So I made this mac and cheese today, but I haven't made mac and cheese in forever. And I made a very small amount. Like, I didn't make a big pan. My son doesn't even eat mac and cheese. So that is just me. Like, that over there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It's
I love
just
it.
me.
Like, she's like, all of it for me. Leftovers for days.
Girl. I'm gonna be eating mac and cheese for the rest of the week. I promise you, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
Right.
But you know, maybe I won't. I'm drinking a lot of water throughout the day. Right. I have my hydro flask here, which I love. Guys, check it out. Hydro flask.
Okay.
It's delicious. Not delicious, but it just keeps your water so cool. I love it. Oh, okay. Keeping hydrated. I'm not eating crazy things in the morning. You know, maybe I'll even like. I'm doing kind of intermittent fasting. I'm not eating until like 12 o'clock anyway, just because I've never been a breakfast person. That's just not my.
Really? I'm so a breakfast person.
I am not like, I know you said you loved eggs. I always buy eggs and I don't really use them. Hardly.
Does your son eat it?
Nope. Well, first of all, my son only eats like chicken and French fries, if we're going to be honest. Like, he's on his own vibe over there.
I'm simple, Mom.
Completely.
Chicken nuggets, that's it.
Oh, no. It has to be bone-in chicken. We're talking drumsticks, thighs, chicken breasts. Oh, no, it's fancy. Like, I have to defrost chicken, season it, and I have to do all of that.
Your boy is not playing. He's like, Mom, I need the dark meat.
Yeah.
Okay. And I need it several different ways. Thank you.
And some days I want it in the air fryer. Other days I want it fried in grease. And sometimes maybe I'll have it baked once in a while, but not really, you know?
Hilarious.
It's
the simpleness.
I'm tired of making chicken, if we're going to be 100%
Right.
honest. So to get back into the tips. So another tip they said, which was interesting, is to take it easy with soy products, because they say intaking too much soy can be worse for you than actually intaking a lot of animal products.
Yeah. So I haven't really delved too much into this piece, but I've heard this a lot more frequent than not. And so I already stay away from a lot of soy stuff. Like I don't do the soy milks or tofu or even like soy based like alternative meats. I try to stay away from that. Because simple fact, like I've heard a lot of people say like it's more detrimental than anything. So I haven't researched it too much, but I already do stay away from it.
Yeah, I think they're saying that it can be like a carcinogen, so it can like
that makes sense.
Ignite like whatever cancer cells are in your body or whatever. So they want you to not. So guys, literally stay away from.
Yeah, and get checked. Can we just say that? Get checkups, please. Because good old Chadwick, you know, early detection. Just get checked, please.
I think we do have a problem with that. And I think we also do have a problem with not asking our doctors to run the appropriate tests. Because we go to the doctor and we're like, well, we went to our physical every year, but like I had to force my doctor to give me an EKG.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, just give me an EKG. I'm here. Just do it. Check it. Like, I don't understand why you don't want to check how my heart is doing. Like, you can't see my heart.
I will never forget. And this is why so in my soul, I'm like, I need people of color to be my doctor, dentist, you know, all the things, because they don't really pay attention to us. So I was maybe like 16 or something, and I was going to get just a basic checkup, and it was a white male doctor. And I was like, I'm just here to get a basic checkup, you know, run tests and make sure everything is good. Right. And he was like, well, are you sexually active? And I was like, no. And he was like, well, I don't know what you want me to check. And I was like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, like, what do you want me to check? Like, I was like, well, can you check my cholesterol? Can you check my blood pressure? Can you just check to make sure like everything internally is like, you know, going well? And he was like, well, I mean, the only thing I would really check for is because of your age, I would check like to make sure you don't have like anything going on with like your uterus and like no diseases there, and like you don't have cancer. He's like, outside of like a pap smear, like I don't know what else you want me to do. And I was so pissed. I was like, I don't want anything. Actually, I'm gonna go. Thank you. I was so pissed.
I didn't
and that was
come
my
here
first
for my sexual health. Like that's not what I came here for. I came here for my health. You should be checking my blood work. Like I should be having lab work, you know, at least yearly, just to see how everything is going, so we can have a record like, oh, you know, maybe your vitamin C was always low, but if it really dropped, why did it really drop? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are things you need to know. And I feel like they're very into like, oh, well, you're not 35 yet, so we can't do a mammogram or whatever the case is.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, has your period changed? Has your mood swing changed? It's like, that's not the basis of your reason to check me internally. Like I could be diabetic and you would never know, because you look at me and you're just like, well, she doesn't look like it. Right. Like you never know. You check.
You don't.
I was so irritated. So make sure you get checked. Make sure you push these issues and get checked.
Yes. Because rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. That really, when I heard of it, I had seen pictures of him. Like, but you know, I see pictures of him all the time. People post, you know, Black Panther, you know, especially with everything going on in the world. Like that's something that you see a lot. So I didn't think nothing of it. Then I got an alert on my phone from Twitter, and it was like he died at 43, which I had no idea he was 43 years old, 43 or 42.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, oh my God. First of all, he looked amazing.
Come through with that melanin. He is a fine piece of specimen. I loved him. I just loved him. He was so debonair and just like,
So
he's so nice.
So I remember I saw 42 and I saw the James Brown movie, right? But I didn't remember it was him in the movies. So I didn't know Chadwick Boseman until Black Panther, right? So when I saw him, I think it was on Saturday Night Live, and he didn't have the accent, it literally threw me through a loop. I was like, wait, what?
You're like, I'm sorry. Who are you, sir?
Like, what?
What happened to your accent?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the African accent. I really thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's how you know he is a man of his craft. Like, he literally is a man of the arts. Like, he studied and he does it to a T, to perfection. And that's what I loved about him.
He definitely, God rest his soul, man. Yeah. We lost a good one. We lost a good one. Fuck cancer.
For sure.
Fuck cancer. Yeah. So the last thing on here is that being vegan can actually make you happier. Apparently, animal diets or omnivorous diets contain more arachidonic acid, which can spur neurological changes that can drag down your mood.
I believe it. I don't know what those words were.
Right, neither do I. It sounds like it makes sense. Sounds like it makes sense. I mean, all of that, I don't know how big you are into like energies and things like that, but I definitely believe it. Yeah. So like if you're eating something that was tortured, you're intaking that.
Come on, Steffi, you better preach to the choir. Okay. You are ingesting that.
You are, and I'm fully aware of this, and it doesn't mean I'm not ingesting it, but I'm cognizant of the fact that like sometimes when you eat all of this junk food, like just think about it, you'll binge and your body, you just feel sluggish. And if your body feels sluggish, that means like your whole mood is just down. You get irritable and all of that. But think about like when you're actually eating well and like you're just vibrant and full of life because you're intaking all of these. You're intaking life, essentially. You're not eating dead food. You're eating food that is alive, so it'll make you feel more alive.
Exactly. I mean, I can testify and it'd be a testimony that, I was, as a child, I would not say a child, maybe I was a early adult, but I went through a period of depression and I couldn't get out of it. But when I changed my diet, that also caused me to change my like workout habits and also helped me change like my perspective on life, who I'm with, what kind of energy I'm putting out, what kind of energy I'm intaking in. And all of that is with my diet change, and that kind of like sparked me out of my depression. So I will definitely say for me as a testament, it did make me happier. It did bring out the light in me and it did honestly like brought a lot of people and a lot of good connections and positive energy into my life for sure.
Because once you're positive and exuding this positive energy, like it'll come back to you.
Oh yeah.
Like it'll definitely come back to you. So that's veganism. Definitely with the depression, I understand that. It just makes you feel better. And when you feel better, not to say that it'll cure any type of depression, but if you do feel down and you do feel sluggish and you just feel out of sorts, try eating clean for like 2 weeks. It's not going to work in a day. Try it for 2 weeks. Just try it for 14 days. And see how you feel by the 14th day. I promise you probably won't be waking up as sluggish as you were before. Just try. And I'm not saying to delete all of, the animal products from your diet. I'm not telling you to go vegan, but just try to eat a little bit cleaner and you'll see how far that goes.
That's a good point because a lot of times it's not even about being a complete vegan because that even is like, you don't do leather, like you are cognizant about where you're going, like the treatment. You don't do the zoos and all of that kind of stuff, and furs. But I lost my train of thought. Wait a minute. That happens to me. I lost my train of thought. Oh, but it doesn't mean that you have to like switch up your diet to that. Like you can just do, vegetables and fruit more frequent than not. Maybe replace a meal, your lunch and do meatless or, try to avoid cheeses at nighttime, things like that. Like pull different things out ever so often. And I think you'll see a positive change for sure in your life.
Right. Because for me, especially, it's all about balance. Once I tell myself I can't have something, that's when I want it the most.
Of course.
It's like,
so don't eat that cheesecake.
Girl, damn, I haven't had cheesecake in so long. I want some Juniors like right now.
Let me tell you. The reason why I said that, I just went to Trader Joe's and they have this new like cheeseless vegan cheesecake. When I tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. It was so good. So good. And I'm not a sweets person.
Neither am I.
I love spice and savory, but that I could eat. For sure.
I could eat a good cheesecake because you know what I mean. Cheesecake is sweet, but it's not, because it's cheese. It's not overly sweet, you know. So
it was that.
I can definitely fuck up a good cheesecake.
It was nicely balanced. The like cookie crumble at the bottom was perfect. It was so good. I was pleasantly surprised. So kudos to Trader Joe's for that too.
Trader Joe's. I wonder if they have that here. I'm definitely gonna look into that. That sounds like
it's so good.
That would be delicious. Okay, so let's get into our next segment, and it's hard on our sleeve. Okay. And so this week I wanted to talk about photography, and more so specifically how to pose in pictures. I have been taking more pictures of myself lately. Like that has become a habit, a hobby, kind of, sort of.
Is like a selfie thing?
It's it's definitely selfies, but I'm definitely getting more creative. So I have like a ring light set up in my room. Ooh. I have my tripod. I have a remote, like a wireless remote, so I can take the pictures. Yeah, girl, I have a whole setup. My actual podcast cover art, I took those pictures in my bedroom at like 1:00 in the morning.
Gotta love the creatives who just like take anything that's in their house or like, look, we gonna make this work. Okay.
Right. And it's like, I was actually having this conversation with someone. The colors of my like podcast art is because it's based off of what I had in my closet to wear that day, actually.
Love that.
That's how that all started. But so I wanted to give, a lot of people had like been commenting like on my pictures on Instagram, and they're like, oh, I've been saving your pictures for like pose, like inspirations and stuff like that, because people
love it.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about it, but it's true. I do put a lot of thought into how I'm posing, why I'm posing, what like vibe I'm trying to give in the picture, like all of that. Yeah. All of that really, it can set the tone for what you want your picture to look like. So I pulled up some tips on how to take, decent pictures of yourself. So one of the first tips, which was hilarious because I do this all the time, it says pull poses and mood inspiration from Pinterest. So go on Pinterest and, what do you want your picture to look like? What vibe do you want to exude? What are you wearing? What kind of outfit is it? Is it hippie? Is it business? Is it, are you trying to have fun? Are you trying to be serious? Like, look at how people pose professionally, because those are, and not to say you're going to exactly do what they do, because everyone's body types are different. You're going to have to stand different ways or whatever the case may be, just to flatter yourself. But definitely try to pull some inspiration from other pictures. Look at other pictures. Try to emulate it a little bit. The other one was follow your nose. So you're going to want your eyes to follow in the same direction that your nose is pointing.
Oh my gosh. Why am I trying to do this? And I look so cockeyed.
No, so you're not looking at your nose. So like your nose is straight ahead. So like, yeah, you're following your nose with your eyes, so that if you're turning your face, you don't see the whiteness in your eyes. So like, how you turn your face, or like you'll look this way and you want to look that way, like all you see is the white in your eyes. So you want your face to follow your nose.
Can I get a finger snap for that one? Okay.
That's how I was. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because you know how many times you'll take a picture and there's just bad white in your eye. And you're like, why?
You're like, what are you looking at?
Exactly. So when you're doing that, you definitely want to follow your nose. You want to be mindful of your shoulders, relax them. You don't want them tense to your ears. You want to feel very relaxed and fresh. Maybe pop a shoulder up just to give you a little attitude, you know, all of that.
Look at this. She's giving y'all all the tips. Okay.
Hello. Chin out and chin down. So you want to extend your neck, but you also want to put your chin down. So you don't look like, so you don't, the what they said on the website was you don't want to look like a turtle poking out of its shell.
Oh,
so.
Okay.
But how many times I've taken so many pictures where I look strained, and it's because my neck is stretched because, you know, I don't want a double chin, but I do have to like tilt my chin down just a little bit. So it gives you a little bit of a more relaxed kind of look.
Let me tell you. So we just had an episode we recorded that was out this week, and she was also giving us tips about
actually came
how
out
to
today
pose.
on Wednesday.
Came out today. And I was like, how do I do this? Because a photographer, I'm in the background. I don't like to be in front of the camera. Like, I know visually what I want to capture, so it's easier for me to just be in the background. But she also gave a tip where you put your tongue at the roof of your mouth. Have you heard that? So it's it helps relax your jaw. And I was like, oh, I'm about to be in the camera like all night. Like,
testing it out for sure until you get it all together.
These tips are great.
They are. Slightly open your mouth for a more inviting effect, so your jaw isn't clenched when your mouth is closed. Make sure you relax your hands, more specifically your joints. So you're gonna want to like shake out your hands and just let them fall, and that's how you're gonna want to like look at your hands. Because if you're like stiff, I know you can read it. And if you guys could ever like, you're not gonna see this video, but like if you see me, all you see is my stiff ass hands, and it's like just going crazy. But yeah, relax your hands, specifically your joints, and then I added make shapes with your body. That's very important.
Okay, expound on that.
So you want to either extend your lines, so maybe put your arm up to make you look taller, extend your leg out if you're sitting down. I'm big on the hand resting on my head to make like a little triangle effects kind of thing, because it also leans out your side because your arm is up, but then it gives you like, it still gives you a curve where you don't have a curve, you know? So it's just, these are the tips. I'm good for putting my hand on top of my head. I love to put my hand on top of my head.
I be in the mirror, like hands crossed above my head, like goddess pose. Trust me.
All
I get that.
of that. So I wanted to talk to you because, again, you're behind the lens, right? So I was listening to your podcast last week, and you guys were talking about the love languages. How big are you on if you're taking pictures of somebody? Are you like saying a lot of like words of affirmation to that person? Like, you look good, maybe turn around, or are you doing that, or are you not really?
So it's hard. So actually, I prefer to not take pictures of people.
Okay.
And here's why. So for me, taking pictures of people, I prefer candid shots. So,
not
if it's not pose stuff, I feel like I prefer just a natural reaction. And sometimes when you have that photo shoot where they are posing, it's not as natural.
Right.
And for me, I want to capture those unforeseen moments. So I also prefer to do like nature. So when it comes to taking pictures of people, usually it's just like whatever they kind of feel, however relaxed they want to go, then I can go with it. But I try to keep the vibe like light, not too serious, because I know sometimes people can get in their head when they're posing, and it's like,
that's me.
Polite. Is it like, is my stomach in? Like, who's watching me? Like, is my bra popping out? So it's like, I just want you to be in your zone. So I try to keep that, whether it be like playing music, or if you need words of affirmation, then I'll try to apply that. But keep it light, and keep it fun. I will say that.
That's very important. It's funny that you say that, because I'm very bad with people taking my pictures. All of my best.
Are you that person who's like, let me see?
No. So my thing is like, if I'm not at a photo shoot, if I'm not with someone who is like there to take my pictures, or like wanted to take my pictures, I feel bad. So I'll literally be like, okay, they took like 3 pictures. And then if I don't like them, I won't ask you to take another picture of me. Like, I'm not that person. Like, I'll just be like, I'm gonna just take my L.
I'm done.
Yeah. So usually I like taking my own pictures because like I can look, adjust, go back. I don't like to bother. I don't like to bother people at all. And plus I get kind of like, I get very self-conscious when someone else is taking my picture.
Yeah, so you're like, are you getting that right angle that will not show my love handle? I don't know that you are. Are you also actually getting this line?
And you can read it in my face. You can always tell when it's someone taking my picture. You can. It's just like, what am I doing? Why do I look so stiff and awkward? Like when I'm taking my own picture, I'm just like, okay, I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's looking at me. It's great. When it's somebody else, girl, I just, it is not fun.
And that is like the photographer in you. Like you just know what you want to capture. And it's hard to do that with someone else doing it, you know? So that's why for me, candid is more better when it comes to people, you know, in a setting. Cause it's hard. It's hard to really get what you're looking for.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable would you say you are in front of the camera?
In front, like 4. Like at all, like smizing, what is that? Like I can't stop showing teeth. Like I don't know how to be like serious and have that like I'm sexy but like I'm drawing you in. Like I can't. I feel completely awkward just even trying it right now. Like you guys can't see me, but I am having an awkward moment. I'm like, how does this work?
What do I do? Like chin up, chin down. What am I doing right now?
Exactly. And I would be that one that's like, can I see it? I don't really like that. Can we do that again? Let's try one more time.
And I don't see, for me, if I was taking your pictures, I'm the friend that literally will climb a rock to get a good angle, get on the floor, do like a flip and a roll, all of that. I am that friend. And I don't feel like any of my friends are like that for me.
Yeah, it takes a special person who is on the ground doing that angle for you so you can get that sunlight.
Yes.
You can get that like nice jawline. No, yeah, right. I get it. You that friend.
I am that friend. And I'm gonna take, I'm also the friend that takes like 20,000 pictures while you're standing there. You don't even know, like you're fixing your hair and I'm snapping. Because you never know how like one of these will look. Like I love like, those type of pictures. You didn't
need to look like this, but it looks bomb.
Right. That's definitely me.
I get it.
So those are the tricks and tips and tricks for my pictures. A lot of y'all have been asking, how do I take my pictures? And that's it. I'll link down below where I get all my stuff because this remote control wireless button thing. First of all,
I need that.
It's right here. Look how little this is. It is tiny. It is literally like the size of what? Like a quarter, maybe a little bit bigger.
And so you hold it sync up with any
iOS and Samsung and Android. So it has Apple and Android, and you just press this little button and it clicks and you can hide it. It's so small. You can hide it in your hand.
Yeah, like, you'll never know.
I have my hand right here. Where's my button? You don't know.
Look at that. Technology. Look, there's no excuses, y'all. We got to get in front of this camera. And stop playing.
Listen,
somebody wants to see you.
I'm all for people expressing themselves creatively. Like even now I'm working on like designing my own logo, which is crazy. Like I'm not a graphic artist. I'm really not, but I'm on Canva every fucking day.
Look, you like, after today, I'm going to be.
Right. Like, oh, okay. Oh, I could do this. I can add a shadow and a whatever on this. Oh, okay. It can move.
Listen. Look, resume. Hey, graphic designer.
All of that to everything. Okay. So before we get into the last segment, which is Are You Dead Ass, which is, you know, where I rant and just talk about shit that just kind of irked me for the week. Is there anything you wanted to get off your chest this week?
Ooh, that's a good one. So I've been going back and forth. I will say, I'm not going to go too deep in it, but I will say this is a PSA for people, non-people of color. You need to be kind to the people of color in your life. And when I say kind, we're not talking about like, oh, how are you doing? Give them their space. Or if you haven't even talked to them in a long time, reach out.
Right.
You don't have to have a deep conversation. You don't need to know who's voting for what, how they are surviving the pandemic. Are they wearing their mask? But you need to like check on them. If you call them your friends, family, anything, you need to check on them. or give them their space. But you need to be kind to the people of color around you because it's rough.
Kind.
Like it's hard 2020 in general is like a shit show, but for people of color, Black people, it is 10 times worse. So
and not only that, so like all of that is happening, you know, things that have been going on for years, you know, decades at this point. But then also we had a virus who, yes, killed a lot of people, but it specifically killed people of color because of our, you know, things that we our pre-existing conditions. That's what I wanted to say. Because of pre-existing conditions, which are more prevalent in the Black and brown communities. So it's like already we got hit that way. And then on top of that, it's all this extra bullshit that it's like, I don't understand why it's still happening, you know, 60, 70 years later. It's kind of ridiculous. It's funny because, you know, we're talking about photography and all of that. And this just popped into my head. When I did a Pods for Bonds a couple of months back for like,
I remember,
like a fundraiser or whatever. And as I was doing research for that, I had read that you'll find all of the pictures from like the civil rights movement are in black and white. And that's because they want us to think it was so much longer ago than it actually is. It's rare that you will find a picture of the civil rights movement in color because there were colored pictures. But it's all black and white to give it an old feeling in our history books so that we can think that it was so far away.
Yo, they out here wilding, okay? The caucasity is out here.
This is the shit I'm talking. So you're fully aware.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you're fully aware of all of this that's going on and how recent it was and how it's not really changing, but you want us to think it was long gone, so long ago, you know, because, you know, everything we see is color. When you see a black and white picture, you automatically assume it was a very long time ago, and it really wasn't.
You know what makes me upset is it also you use that as a way to like as an argument to not be supportive of the movement or questioning the validity of the brutality that's happening. And it's like, just because it doesn't happen in your backyard, just because you may think it happened, you know, centuries ago, whatever, does not mean that it doesn't exist and that is not real for the people around you.
That is
it's just mind-boggling to me when the arguments come, well, that was a long time ago, or I don't see that, the black people in my community, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, just because it doesn't exist where your eyes can lay on it doesn't mean that it's not real.
And that it's not happening everywhere else. Just because it's not happening in front of your eyes doesn't mean it's not happening everywhere else. And it doesn't lessen what it is, you know, or the impact of it.
Yeah.
And even if it was a long time ago, that's all things that are inherited generationally. You know, like all of these traumas and all of this shit and all of like just the way our family dynamics have evolved into. Like all of this is because of all the bullshit that happened all those years ago. So it's like all of that trickles down. The fact that, you know, a lot of white people have good credit. A lot of white people have money. And that's
they have trust. They were born into like having, you know, when they graduated, they had a house waiting for them. They had property. So they understood that and they didn't have to work for it.
Right. It's all passed down because you had all of this and we were denied it for so long that now is that you're finding people of color who have some type of generational wealth. This isn't something that's been happening for centuries. No, it's literally now that we've had, you know, grandparents that actually like worked hard, hustled and built, and now they're passing it down to their kids, and their kids, you know, hustled and built upon it and all of that. But it's not easy. And, you know, we have to break these cycles.
Break these generational curses. And it doesn't start when you argue with me about the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't necessarily care about if someone had I heard the story of a girl that I grew up with. She also had like a mutual friend that I knew of when we were kids. She was white. Anyways, as she grew up, she married a Mormon, became Republican, conservative, whatever. But mind you, she had Black best friends growing up. she goes and argues with her about the Black Lives Matter movement, saying that there's a lot of like fishy financing and money laundering, all that kind of stuff. And that's why she won't support it. And I said, and the girl's argument is, my friends, her argument is that it doesn't matter. That's not the piece. We're talking about the actual lives of Black people. We are saying that it matters. We're not saying that
talking about the organization
is having this, like money issues. We're talking about that your actual Black lives, your friends at that their lives matter, not just yours.
And I don't understand why it's so hard to comprehend.
Why does it have to be an argument? Are you trying to tell me that it doesn't matter? Like,
it's selfishness.
Just say that.
People don't know how to hear something and not apply it to themselves. So since it doesn't apply, since I'm not a Black life, then I don't matter. No, that's not what we're saying. All we're saying is that Black lives also matter. Like, this is all we're saying. Like, do you want to add the also in it? Would that make you feel a little bit better?
If you need that, that's not my problem.
Right.
Because I'm not going to do that.
Just say it in your head. When you hear Black lives, if you want to say also in your head, that's cool. Do it. If that makes you feel better.
Whatever.
Like
whatever you got to do.
Whatever makes you feel better. Just shut your mouth. That's it.
Exactly. People of color, your caucasity is not welcomed. Okay. Right now, you're going to have to put that on the back burner. Because right now, if you really think about it, your Black friends are really like, all right, say something crazy.
They're waiting.
Might go down.
Ready. It's bad. It's just be careful out there, okay?
I'll never forget. I'm sorry. I'm still ranting. Hold on.
Oh.
I had a coworker. I would say we were friends, and it's two people. Granted, one is Asian, one's white. But the Asian, she grew up in a white family. She was adopted. So we would meet every month, have dinner, catch up, But right before COVID, we kind of like lost touch, the holidays, blah, 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 blah. But as soon as all of these instances of Black lives being lost, crickets. I didn't hear nothing. And I didn't really think about it because I'm like, it's pandemic 2020 shit. Like, we're quarantined. Like, I'm not really thinking about that. But this particular one of the friends was like, I'm pregnant. I want you to be at my baby shower. And I'm like, that's personal to me. If I'm your friend and you're inviting me to your baby shower, that's because we're not just coworkers. We're not just associates.
Right.
That also means the things that are happening in this world that affect me as a Black woman, and you don't have the audacity, the decency to like hit me up. And you don't have to have a deep conversation, like I said, but just be like, Val, how you doing? I just want to check up on you.
Right.
Nothing? I'm not going to your fucking baby shower. Fuck you.
No, get out of here. When I was working,
I don't feel bad.
I had a coworker. Well, I had a couple of coworkers, and I was only friends with one of my coworkers. She's actually my friend. I'm not going to call her coworker anymore because I don't work with her. She's my friend. She's a Black lady, and we were cool. Like, up and down. She's actually older than me. Like, that was my ride or die in the office. And there are other girls in the office who were around my age that I just didn't fuck with. And when all of this happened with Black Lives Matter and George Floyd, they literally never spoke about it. Like, never mentioned anything until the quote unquote riots were happening. And now it's like, oh my God, the riots this, and oh my God, the riots that.
Oh my gosh, why would they do that? Like, I can't believe it.
And I remember one time we weren't really speaking like that. So I was real problematic. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm petty. So I'll say things just to get you mad, and then I'll walk away and go back into my office, and it'll be like, they're talking amongst themselves, and I'll be at the copy machine or whatever the case may be, and they're talking about looting or whatever, and I'll say something like, well, I mean, it's because they killed an innocent Black man, and then I'll just walk away. Like, like, mic drop. Like, I don't have time.
Come on with the mic drop.
Because I don't have time. Because I'm not going to also sit there and argue with you at work. Like, there's patience there or whatever. But I'm going to say my piece and I'm going to walk away. Because it's ridiculous. And then I feel bad because my friend, she's the only Black person in the office. No, she's not the only Black person in the office, but she's the only one that works up front. So she's basically alone with a bunch of Hispanic girls up front, and they're all lighter skinned, but they all try to act like they just aren't, like they don't feel the struggle of it. So I just felt bad for her. Like I felt like I had to be her advocate. I think Valerie is paused.
Oh, sorry.
No, girl, you're good. You're good. We went a whole hour without it freezing, so I think that's pretty damn good.
Hey now. All I know is mama needs to upgrade. That's what he's telling me. I gotta upgrade this computer.
Same. I have to do the same. So I was basically saying, like, I feel bad for Elaine. That's basically who shout out to Elaine, my friend that I used to work with. And I felt bad because I feel like she was not scared to speak up, but it's like, you know, everyone there is Hispanic. So it's like she probably felt like she was outnumbered, or it might turn into something that it doesn't need to turn into. This is still her place of employment. So like she was definitely like, you know, more timid to like come up and say things. But me, I'm just like, well, y'all can all suck my dick because I'm gonna say what I want to fucking say.
That's so a New York person. Yeah, it's like suck my dick, fuck you.
Like over it completely. But what I wanted to, even though I joined in on your, you know, dead ass
my rant, that's okay, girl.
I definitely did. I wanted to talk about the versus battle, Monica and Brandy. Did you catch that?
Oh, I caught it. I caught it.
I'm sure everybody did, because those numbers were were outrageous and crazy. But I also wanted to talk about Moesha on Netflix and how upset I was at the finale. Do you remember the finale? Because I binged watch all 6 fucking seasons of Moesha on Netflix. Hey. Okay.
Did you watch it back then too?
I did, but I didn't remember how it ended. So
I don't remember either.
I'm about to tell you. Okay? Because I'm pissed and I'm sorry, spoiler alert, but you know, Moesha is very old at this point. Like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
So I watched it back then. I loved Moesha. Like, I love that song. Okay. Like and I would be watching it here and I'd be singing the song and singing along with Brandy, all of that. Loved it. Cool. I mean, you know, Moesha's character within itself was kind of annoying, but I loved the show itself. Yeah. Like, it was a great show. Until the fucking end. The cliffhanger for the last episode included Miles, which is the younger brother, getting kidnapped. Somebody is pregnant, and we don't know if it's Moesha or Niecy.
My God.
Yes, I
definitely don't remember this.
I think you blocked it out like I blocked it out, because you were just like, this can't be real life. That is exactly how it ended. And I was just like, oh my God. And I'm watching it the last episode and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot. I didn't even realize that Miles got kidnapped. He got kidnapped because Ray J's character was doing something illegal with drugs, and the drug dealer kidnapped Miles. It was this whole big thing that they literally the whole season like led up to this. Okay. And then the last episode comes and I watch it and I'm like, oh, I can't. Because, you know, when you're binging on Netflix, you don't know what episode you're on, whether it's the last one or nothing. Like, you're just lost in this Netflix world, right? So I'm here and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait for the next one. And I was literally on live, and this is funny. So I'm watching it and I'm like this, and I'm like, and I'm waiting for the next episode. And it's like coming soon, or like attractions or whatever, or like watch this show. And I'm like, wait. I said, that is not the last episode.
That can't be.
And I'm looking, that was the last fucking episode. I was just like, okay. I'm gonna need for Brandy to get it all the way fucking together. That was how many years ago? That was over 20 years ago.
In the 90s.
Yes.
For sure. Now I gotta watch it because I don't remember that ending.
Girl, I was mad. So I went into this versus battle. I was Team
like
Monica
really all battling.
The way because I was tight. I said, Brandy, fuck you, okay? Because I'm mad. Like I literally spent 2 weeks of my life. I binged watched. I watched all 6 seasons. I don't think y'all understand.
That's a lot.
From episode 1 until episode 22 of season 6, I watched every single fucking episode.
And the seasons are long because they have longer episodes. They have a lot more episodes. So yeah,
it's like 22 episodes per season. Like, it's a lot. Now, mind you, yes, I was also doing other things while Moesha was playing, but still, I was invested. I definitely dedicated my time and my electricity to binge watching Moesha, and it fucking ended in such a crazy way that I was so upset. So I went into the battle already Team Monica, right? Because Moesha and Brandy are one and the same, in my opinion, and I don't have time. But I was definitely Team Monica, and everything Brandy did just irked me the whole battle.
Okay, so were you like looking at them like, y'all some fake friends?
They were not friends at all. First of all, Monica
did not like her. Let's just put that out there. She was the one. She was the one that's like, nah, I don't really rock with you.
She was, every time Brandy would say something, she would be like, I'm sorry, what? Huh?
Right.
What you said? Huh? Waiting for her to slip. So she could either slap her or walk off. We don't know which one it is, but she was waiting for it. Both of their outfits were horrendous. I'm sorry. Both of them looked like, in the beginning, Monica looked like she couldn't even sit up straight because her pants were too tight.
She was like slouching or like leaning in her chair. Like, are those like pleather pants? Like,
first of all, people didn't know if they were pants or boots. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. They didn't like each other, like we said, like they just weren't with it. My favorite part was, I think, because Brandy had a story for every fucking song. She had her story.
Poem. She had a poem.
She had poems, but then did you see the one that she couldn't find? She's like this in a notebook, and she's like, I have a poem for this one, and she's turning pages, and she's like, well, I can't find it. So I was just like, this unprepared ass bitch. You didn't bookmark your page. You didn't like at least turn the page over so you can find it.
Or have somebody with a sign with it so you can just read it. Like, y'all got the hookup. Like, come on.
Something. They definitely could have had like the projector or whatever, the telemarketer. I don't even, telemarketer's not that. Teleprompter. That's where they tell her exactly what she wants to say. But she would have a story for every single one. She would name drop. Like, I'm tired of hearing about Biggie, Tupac, Babyface, Benny Medina. Like, that
she did do that.
Irked me. It irked me. But it was one time where I think Brandy said something like, yeah, we're like a little group. And Monica was like, we are not a group.
With the quickness. She was like, no, let's not even put that in the atmosphere. Girl, no. And then at the end, she was like, Brandy was like, well, we need to go on the road with this. She was like, what?
She was like, there's no tour. There's no tour. First of all, who's going on tour in COVID? It's COVID 2020. Who is going on tour? Brandy, shut up. That's exactly what I kept saying to the screen. I was like, Brandy, shut up.
Gosh. And I've never been like a Brandy singer fan. And I think like Monica, like I just liked her songs. Like she just had hits that I liked. So, I mean, in comparison to them, like they're both equal to me. Like, you know, you just have hits. I don't necessarily listen to you like that. But yeah, I could definitely see Brandy. She was just like, I think she was trying a little too hard, you know, to make it seem like that they were cooler than they were. Which is fine. It's like you guys are grown. You don't have to be like buddy. Like y'all was beefing when you was like teenagers or like
Monica was 12. That's all she kept saying the whole thing. I was 12.
Like, of course y'all beefing. Y'all similar in, you know, vocal ranges and just, you know, Black women growing up in that industry at that time. So of course you're going to be compared to each other.
Right. And that's what it was. It was the comparisons, I feel like, that really started like the beef. But for me, like Brandy has bops. Like, don't get me wrong. I love R&B music and I loved Brandy. I loved her first album. Like that, to this day, I still bump that shit. Like Brandy has bops. But Monica is a vibe for me. Like, I would want to be Monica's friend. I wouldn't want to be Brandy's friend. As stank as Monica is.
Yeah. I fuck with that too.
Like, and that's, so if you're so like similar as far as like what music you have and this isn't, I'm going to go with Monica every day. You had me with Moesha. I always said Moesha was my shit. And now you fucked that up. Like, honestly. And then I was so mad that she didn't sing the Moesha song. She was like, no, I can't. I was like, you can't do it a cappella? You can't do it a cappella? You couldn't be like Moesha. Just the end. You know how it always ended like Moesha. I would have been so lit.
And that's it. You know, give us something.
She did not want to do that. First of all, she did not want to start singing until Monica was like showing her range. Okay, she was like, Monica at the end of every song was like, I was like, okay.
That right. You're like, yes, she still got it. Okay, girl.
Hello. And then Brandy tried it and it wasn't working. She wasn't prepared. She didn't practice her runs before the show. She definitely didn't.
She did say that she likes to be in the background too. Mm-hmm. She did say she likes to do backup more than she does like in the forefront singing, but I don't know. I just loved the fucking vibes and the songs that just brought back so many nostalgic memories. But yeah, they were definitely like, I feel like Monica was like, all right, get it together, girl. She was like giving herself pep talks like, okay.
Every time Brandy was talking.
Don't let this shit get to you. Like, do not pop off on her.
She was like, this is a bag and this is going to be a big bag. Oh, and finally, and I'm going to end this after this because this has been a long episode. I am very upset that they did not perform The Boy Is Mine.
Oh, I'm not even really going to go deep because yes, that is the one thing I was like, what the hell? Because I was literally, that's the only thing I was really waiting for at the end, because a lot of the songs like towards the middle end, I was like, I don't really know some of these. I just need The Boy Is Mine so I can go to sleep. Girl, when that came on, it was like they both stood up like, okay, this is our performance time. So I was ready for it. And then they didn't do it.
They didn't even know the words, I feel like. They were like humming along. Yeah. And I'm just like, and I was actually part of a group chat. Shout out to my Instagram friends. We had like our own separate like group chat as we were watching.
Yeah, done that.
Girl, next time I'm gonna add you to mine because it was lit. We was talking the whole time. I'm gonna add you. And the whole time I was like, I performed this song better with my friends on a drunken girls' night. Like, I'm gonna need for y'all to get it all the way fucking together. Like, y'all don't know the words to the most. Like, we have been waiting for The Boy Is Mine since you announced that y'all were going on Versus. Why weren't y'all prepared?
That is the only song that we really cared about. Really,
to be honest.
We just want to know, are y'all going to sing it and how y'all going to sing it? Are you going to give us like the 90s vibe, or y'all going to like upgrade it to
maybe
like
switch it up a little bit? Maybe switch the words a little bit to like, they could have did so much. And I feel like it was such a lost opportunity. And that's just me. Like, I'm always thinking about like things that I can do or whatever. It would have been a performance. It would.
Oh yeah.
Like, y'all really had an intermission for what then? Because I thought y'all were coming back to perform. What the fuck was the intermission for?
Like, y'all was sitting there. Y'all was sitting there just singing your ad-libs, you know?
We were there for 3 hours. It was 3 hours. Yeah. And y'all didn't perform at the end. I was so disappointed. So disappointed.
Yo, I'm with you on that one. I was like, oh, y'all can't. In the mic. Come on now. Sing in the mic. Like, I want to hear your voice.
A little bit.
I've been waiting.
And then that fake hug at the end. I was just like, you know what? This is way too much. Like, I did the one thing I did read somewhere was like during the intermission they should have had Ray J perform One Wish. I cried
because he had his own vibe in the background. Like,
that would have been lit. He would have did the spin to the ground and all of that.
Oh my gosh! Oh Ray J. Oh Lord,
girl.
Well, God bless them for even doing it, shit. Yeah. But I do agree. The Boys Might could have done.
It was a missed opportunity for sure. Like they would have still been talking about that.
Exactly.
Like, it was a missed opportunity.
I think right now people are like fishing to talk about stuff like their outfits because
no,
they were like underwhelmed by.
It was, and everyone was so hyped for this battle. Like it was like 6 million people viewed it. Like, that's a lot of fucking people. And y'all just wasn't with it, I guess. Whatever. I don't know. But that's what my rant is about this week, because I was so upset on Monday, and I just couldn't believe that I was literally here watching it. Because honestly, if we're going to be 100% frank, I didn't want to watch the battle. I wasn't going to. I didn't want to watch it. I listened to their music all the time. Like, it wasn't, gonna bring back anything for me because I'm literally listening to these songs every day. So it's like I watched it because of the group chat and because like that was fun interacting with like the people watching it with me. But like me sitting here watching it by myself, I didn't want to do that. So the fact that it was very underwhelming to me, I was just like, this is why I didn't want to watch it. Like,
right. Dang, y'all could have stepped it up.
They've really
whoever's on Versus next, please
step it up. We need a little, like at this point, what number verses is this? 10, 11? Like how many verses has there been? We all know what the flow of verses is. They're gonna battle, but make it a little bit more theatrical now. This is what TV is becoming, right? This is what you're promoting. I'm gonna need a little bit more production. Not just a clean set. I'm gonna need maybe some visuals in the background. Like I'm gonna need something.
Like y'all could have had some like special features because a lot of y'all have worked with a lot of artists.
This is what I'm saying. Why hasn't this happened? My favorite one, honestly, and it was just because of the vibe of it all, was Alicia Keys and John Legend because they had fun.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
They had fun. In my opinion, they had fun. And she was just like, Alicia was just jumping around. I just loved it. Like the vibe of it. And I also love Alicia. Like, I love Alicia.
Do you? Her music. I'm not a fan.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. I do. I'm Alicia fan. I am. But yeah, I did like that versus. But anyway, so now that we ranted and all of that, tell my listeners where they can find you.
Yes, you guys can follow me or the podcast at Are We Grown Yet Podcast _. We got topics every week. We love to interact with y'all. We got a website going. We just did a giveaway a couple weeks ago. So stay tuned. We're evolving. The podcast is growing. So stay tuned. You can follow me at ValerieAnn Creates _ for all of my wannabe vegan and photography stuff and all things creative. So yeah, holla at your girl.
Creating every
also,
day.
I'm single too, so thank you.
Essentially, her DMs are open is what she's trying to say.
Come on now. Thank you.
I love it. Oh, and I do love the way you guys intro your show now. When Hasmin talks with the music in the beginning, I thought that was so, like, that's the production value I'm talking about. And this is like the shit I like. And I enjoy it and I respect it because it's not simple. Like that takes work. You know what I'm saying? Gosh. So I appreciate the production value. So check out Are We Grown Yet podcast for, they be talking they shit. They definitely have great topics, great guests, and, just great production value. Yeah. I will give you guys that.
Thank you, boo.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Do I Look Fat podcast. Remember to follow me _StephyKiss, STEPHYKISS is my personal page. More things will be coming on that page, guys. I'm definitely incorporating more of content. More content will be coming to Steffi Kiss, okay? Follow the Do I Look Fat podcast page on Instagram. It's fine and thick, exactly how it's spelled. Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, all of that jazz. I want to hear from you. Send me emails. Everything will be linked down below. All of the information from my girl Val will also be linked down below. Thank you again for tuning in to another week. I will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Yay. Okay, this was great.
I'm sorry. I don't